Welcome to Force Conversations, Star Wars and Beyond, hosted by myself, Mike, also known as Slim Vicious, and my co-host.
Andre, also known as Kursvet.
So today we're going to start off with talking about Star Wars rumor. And the rumor today would be the not in production, unfortunately, Ben Solo movie.
Yeah, the hunt for Ben Solo is what it was called, and apparently it was a canceled project. That it was in the works, not in the works, but it was talked about. And Bob Iger, the head of Lucasfilm, the head of Disney, or the whole head of Disney, or just Lucasfilms, I can't remember off the top of my head. Basically said that they can't see how they would bring back Ben Solo.
I read, I thought at one point in time, I thought that what is his name, Steven Soderbergh and Adam Driver had actually been working on a script and had some ideas of how they could do that and bring him back or whatever. The part of it that kills me is how do you incorporate a line in your movie where somebody literally says, no one's ever really gone, but then you say, I don't see how we can bring him back. Like you open the door for it. You literally take a line to open the door and say, hey, this is possible, but I don't see how it's possible.
Was that from The Last Jedi, or was that from The Rise of Skywalker? I don't recall exactly what movie that was from. I know it was one of those last two movies.
Yeah, it was one of those two. I think I'd have to look it up to confirm, but I think it was it Ray that said it?
No, I think it was Luke.
Was it Luke?
I think it was Luke, and it was heavily advertised in the trailers for the movies, but I can't remember which one it was.
That is
But
a great question. But yes.
regardless, how do you not see how you can bring him back? Like, I mean, you don't even we don't even have to have it after I mean, the hunt for Ben Solo, I guess it could be the Knights of Ren hunting for Ben Solo to bring him into the Knights of Ren, maybe. Or maybe it could be hunting for Ben after, trying to find him. I mean, the
Here's what I think would have been cool. What if they did both? What if they made a movie, The Hunt for Ben Solo, right? And the main part of the movie was um, Ray feeling in the Force that Ben was alive, right?
yeah.
And so in this feeling that Ben was alive, like she's trying to figure out why she feels this way and why she's looking for him. Those flash to Ben Solo being either injured or not 100%, or maybe part of him coming back like he, I don't know, for some reason doesn't have all of his memories or something like that. And then throughout the movie, while he's trying to figure out why he's still alive, he has flashbacks, and we see the flashbacks of his time with the Knights of Ren and coming to be the leader of the Knights of Ren, stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is. So we kind of get a little bit of both. We get now time with, you know, trying to tie it into the current timeline of Star Wars, but we also get those flashbacks where we can see like how he came to be part of the Knights of Ren or whatever, and
Yeah.
maybe we see flashbacks and them talking about where the Knights of Ren came from and how that ties to like even as back as far as like Chimera, right? So we
Yeah.
kind of bring that in and we wrap that into it because then you could kind of maybe I get like the accolade was divisive. We can talk about that more later. But we get kind of like a way to bring Chimera and stuff like that in the Knights of Ren in a different way that you don't have to have like an acolyte season two if people don't want it, right? Like you could
Yeah.
still do something different. I get it, dude.
I would have
Trust me.
loved it. I would have loved it. Especially since they were saying that Chimera was, in at least the concept arts, he was supposed to be like the first Knight of
The
Ren.
founder or something. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that would have
I
just
think that would
been
have been sweet.
incredible. Like, his helmet even had the shape, like the side profile. The shape was just there for a Knight of Ren helmet.
Right. Right.
It just
No, I think we can talk about that. We'll probably have a lengthy conversation about that with one of our upcoming guests on the podcast because I know we know some people that are pretty opinionated about that. Let's just say.
yeah, they're very against it. But I would have loved season 2. I would have loved it. I just I get so I don't I get so angry that like I get it. If you want to say no, we'll save it for a different episode. We'll save it
Yes,
for
yeah,
a different.
yeah. Let's not
We'll
get
save
into
it.
that. Okay, so
So
back to the Ben Solo.
yeah,
So here's my question to you, right? Like I was not disappointed in the Rise of Sky or the not Rise of Skywalker. What was it? The last freaking movie. Oh my gosh, my
the
brain
Rise of
just
Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. I don't know why I was thinking that wasn't it. My brain just absolutely had a brain fart. Anyway, so in that movie, like I don't fully mind that Ray took on the Skywalker last name,
Mhm.
but I think there could have been a better way of doing it if in the end of that you didn't have Ben Solo dead, right? Like if you did something like let's say because we have Rogue One, we have Solo, which these movies are part of like I would say the expanded Skywalker saga, right? Like they're not part
Mhm.
of the main 9 movies, but they're still
They still
hard
have to
set
deal.
into those
Yeah.
movies. Yeah. So if you do like a search for Ben Solo, whatever you want to call it, like um, as like an in between movie, like that takes place in between the fight with the Emperor and the ending of Rise of Skywalker, like then I think you could fit that movie in there. Because it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, it looks like when she's burying that lightsaber, some time has passed. Like they don't say if it's
Mhm.
like a week, a month, 6 months, a year. Like it doesn't say how much time has passed, but clearly some time has passed, right? So
Yeah.
with that, if you make a movie that takes place during that lapsed piece of time, whatever it is, I think that's where you could fit this movie.
And also, during that Tatooine scene where she's burying the lightsabers at the Lars homestead, why, if Kylo was such a big portion of her Jedi path, why would if he had his redemption, why would he not become a Force ghost and present himself to her, along with Luke and Leia? Because
Yeah,
he's still alive.
There you go. I was gonna say yeah, because like I mean, clearly we know now anybody can just become a Force ghost.
Yeah.
Like
It,
there's no special training for it. Like if you're, it's almost like hey, I was a Jedi. Something happened and I don't feel like things are resolved, so I'm just not gonna pass on you. Like
right,
that's what it seems more like. Not like I had to train for 6 years and learn this because
even if
everybody's a
it was
Force ghost now.
just even if it was just like a forced voice, like how
Right.
in the Clone Wars you'll see there's part where I don't want to spoil it for you,
Okay,
but there's
go to Obi-Wan.
yeah,
What
okay,
happened
well,
at the end of Obi-Wan?
oh no, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, even there was the voices of Obi-Wan, Old Man Obi-Wan, Ayla Secura, no, not Janet, Caleb Dune as Kanan from Rebels. There was Mace Windu, like all those voices, and
Right.
you're not
But
seeing
what
or
about Qui-Gon in
hearing.
the end of Obi-Wan?
He was a Force ghost though.
Right, but I'm saying that like even with that, like dude went from dying in episode 1, just completely said, throughout the entire Clone Wars, I'm not gonna talk to Obi-Wan at all whatsoever. But I'm gonna wait till after he has his confrontation with Vader and stuff like that. Then I'm gonna be like, oh hey, by the way, guess what I can do?
Yeah,
Right? So
like
like so
at the
clearly
end
it can
at
just
the end of
happen.
at the end of Revenge of the Sith, uh Yoda sends Obi-Wan off and to train. Like I just don't understand where they're going with it. Because
okay, so
Yoda sends
here's
Obi-Wan to train to be able to talk to Qui-Gon, because even he's
yes.
like Yoda's like from beyond the grave, and
So
Yoda.
so here's my take on that, and I'm gonna throw this out to you, and I just want you to think about this. What if hearing and seeing a force ghost is not dependent on the training of the person that is the ghost, but the training of the person that's seeing the ghost? And I say that because when Obi-Wan dies in A New Hope,
Mhm.
Luke hears him, doesn't see him. And at that point, when Luke hears him, he had gotten further along in his training in the Force.
Okay,
Then he
okay,
continues his training. His training goes further, and then he's able to see his dad and Obi-Wan as Force ghosts.
okay.
But he wasn't able to see any of them when he was new. It wasn't until like after he had been training. So my question is, because there's nothing that says like, is there anything in canon that says this is how people are able to do Force ghosts, or is it just believed that they train and do
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if it, yeah, just
it? Yeah.
I just don't think that they. If they're bringing Han Solo, they didn't bring Han Solo back. They just force visioned him to Kylo because he was dying, you know. But
Yes, but I would ask this: with you saying that, have we ever seen? Maybe this might spoil something in one of the animated series, but have we ever seen a Force Ghost Dark Side conversation?
we've seen a not a Force ghost, but a yes, yes we have, yes we have.
Okay.
Yoda in the sixth season of the Clone Wars goes to Moraband. It used to be called Koraband, and then Coruscant came along, and George Lucas is like, no, we can't have that because it's too close to Coruscant. So Moraband
Okay.
is like the Sith homeworld. Okay, so
Okay.
Yoda goes into this temple, and there's supposed to be two. There's supposed to be two. Um, Darth Bane and Darth Revan. Okay, and they're supposed to be these big old Force projection ghosts. Like, and Yoda talks to him. Then hears about the. I think they talk about the rule of two in there too.
Okay. But hold on, let me cut you off for a second. So the person seeing the Force ghosts is a light side Force user who is highly trained.
Oh, highly, yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so back to my original point. Do you think that maybe the user has to be strong in the Force to see the Force ghost? Because let's say in a perfect world, Force ghosts exist everywhere, but you can't see them unless you train to be able to perceive them.
Okay, okay.
The more in tune with the Force you are, you go from nothing. You train, you're more in tune with the Force. You can hear. You train, you're more in tune with the Force. You can see.
So when Yoda is talking about Qui-Gon learning, they don't.
You mean
It
Obi
sounds
Wan
like
learning?
no Qui-Gon. What in the end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda's like
Oh, okay.
Qui-Gon has been training beyond the grave. Blah blah blah. So in other words, they don't need to know how to do it. They just need to know how to. I think Qui-Gon is training to teach people how to actually do it.
Maybe. Here's the other thing I think is that clearly, like, so we'll look at the Obi Wan series, right? So when Anakin goes to the dark side, we know that something dramatically emotionally happens to Obi Wan, right? Like
Okay.
he doesn't walk away from the Force completely, but there's parts of it he just doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want to touch. He wants nothing to do with it. Like he basically distances himself from the Force as much as he possibly can until
Mm-hmm.
something comes up where he's absolutely needed, and then he starts using the Force again, right? So you see
Mm-hmm.
through the Obi Wan series, even when he first starts fighting, doing whatever he's doing, he's not the Obi Wan of old, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, as the series goes on, he starts becoming that. No, I don't want to say mentally that Obi Wan again, but he starts using more and more Force powers. He starts getting stronger. After that fight with Vader, when Vader basically says like, "You didn't kill him, Anakin, I did." I
Yep.
think that's the moment where he's like, you know what? he's right. Like I did everything I could to save him. Anakin just did this to himself, right? And I
Mhm.
think when he walks away, that's why when you see that scene after that, when he's back on Tatooine looking at Luke, you feel like you're seeing a guy that isn't like a depressed hermit anymore. Sure, he still may be a hermit, but he even smiles, right? Like when Lars is like, "Do you want to meet him?" Like he seemed like different, right? And so
Yeah.
maybe that whole time of him holding this emotional baggage of Anakin and the fact that he failed him, maybe when that was lifted, that block in the Force enabled him to now see Qui-Gon
Mhm.
versus before, like he just was shut off to.
Yeah.
So that's why
Off.
I go back to it's got to be the user too. Like it may be both. Like I'm not
Yeah.
arguing that, but some of it has to depend on the Force user that's still alive.
Yeah. And off topic, that whole episode, I shed a lot of tears
Dude,
on
that
that episode.
that
That
series was so freaking good. And
that
like the amount of
last
people that I heard
episode.
talking junk about it beforehand, saying it was going to be horrible. Not going to mention any names who said that, but yeah, I said, hey, just let it happen, man. We'll see what it's
Yeah.
like.
Okay, so here's my thing. If we would have had the Book of Boba Fett, okay, this is all this. You'll see where I'm going here. Book of Boba
Okay.
Fett. If we would have had the hunt for Ben Solo be like that, where it's like after the fact, but then you still get flashbacks, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, so it's while Boba's being in the Vacta, Boba being Kylo, while he's in the Bacta, you get the flashbacks, blah blah blah. Okay, and then you
yeah.
take Boba Fett and you have him sitting by a campfire like those old scary Nickelodeon show, like the Halloween series. I don't know what it's called. Like, what are we afraid?
Goosebumps?
What are we afraid of, or something
Oh,
like that?
Afraid of the Dark or something
Afraid
like
of the
that.
dark. Yeah. So yeah, you
Yeah.
have different chapters in the Book of Boba of Boba's life. You know, if we would have done that.
Are you saying Kylo's life? Because you keep saying Boba.
No. If we would have taken the plot, not the whole plot, but like the whole.
Oh, you're talking about redoing the
Boba.
Book of Boba Fett.
If we took the premise from Boba and
Yeah.
made it into Kylo, and then did this other thing where you take a different chapter of Boba's life in every episode, like do different. Oh, this is the year after Jango died. You know, this is 10 years before Boba died. Blah 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 blah. I think that could have worked. And then we get to see maybe. I mean, you brought this up at work the other day of it being a force projection that maybe Ben. I'm gonna call him Ben from now on. I'm gonna try not to say Kylo anymore because we're talking about Ben Solo.
Fair. Yep.
If Ben force projected himself onto Exegol to, I don't know, because then we saw his ship right next to we saw the Luke's X-wing and his TIE stealth interceptor right next to each other. So I don't know if that would work.
I think you can do everything that you're saying. I think though what you maybe do is Ben Solo does legit basically die at the end of the movie, but Rey brings him back or something like that, or some like I don't know how you write into the story that he gets brought back. Maybe like he doesn't die.
Okay. Hear me out. You know how Rey brought him, or he brought Rey back? Okay.
Yeah.
What if he carries her outside to the ships? He tells someone lands a ship next to theirs, okay? And then he says to this person, I'm gonna bring her back, it's gonna kill me, tell her to bring me back in 10 minutes. And then they just go and then
every 10 minutes they're bringing each other back.
So that way, you know, their brain has a little bit of oxygen here and there to keep it going, and then they're just going back and forth until they can get one of them into a Bacta tank.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, hear me out. What if we do this though? What if when Ben brings Rey back, it doesn't kill him, but it takes him so close to death that like when he for all intents and purposes, everybody thinks he's dead. Rey thinks he's dead. She can't detect life. She's trying to feel that he's alive. Like right there, like for all intents and purposes, he looks dead. Like you
I'm pretty
can't
sure he
Force can't detect
disappears
it.
too.
Yeah, so let's say he doesn't do that, right? Like let's
No.
just say like it just seems like he's dead. So they leave him or whatever because of whatever's going on. I mean, leaving him would be kind of bad. You'd want to bury him. But let's just say however it works out. Let's just say they take him to bury him and he's not on the ship with Ray, but he comes to. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't fully know who he is because, like, in that moment when he gave her his essence or whatever, he also lost the majority of himself. So he doesn't have most of his memories, or if he does have memories, they're like fragmented. There's bits and pieces. He can't put them together. So that's why we see this story of him trying to get all of these memories to link together so he can put his life back together and figure out why he's this way, why he ended this way, stuff like that. And the whole time, then once he starts piecing these together, Ray starts feeling more and more like, hey, I can feel Ben still. Like, I can feel him in the Force because
Mm-hmm.
he gave me his life essence, and we're linked in this way. Like, so the more he gets closer to being back to who he was, I can feel that, and I can feel that there's something that's out there, and I need to figure out what it is. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I think you could do that, especially when, like I said, when you're making the comment like no one's ever really gone, you're leaving the door open even for like a Han Solo to somehow come back. I think that one's less probable, but you
Oh yeah.
do.
I just don't. I don't. I genuinely don't think they could ever bring Han back.
No, I don't either. I'm
That's
just saying.
one. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that's one that I don't think that could happen.
Listen,
I
man,
mean,
you brought Boba Fett out of a stomach. You could bring anybody back.
dude. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's ways to do it, and I think they just there's definitely ways to do it, and they dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah, especially, man, I would like to read the full concept that Adam Driver and Steven Soderbergh had. Like, I would love to be able to read what they had penned down that was like definitive and see, like, because if they had a way to make it be that he was still alive, then yeah, I want to see it. I think the problem is with him disappearing. You, man, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you could do something like, because clearly in the movie, like, Yoda's been gone for a long time, but we hear Yoda talking to Luke in one of the movies, right? When Luke is in the little hut thing.
Yeah.
Was that 8 or 9? 8? Oh, because he died in 8, right? So it would have been 8.
Yeah, it was 8. It was 8.
Yep. So we hear Yoda talking. So what if Ben disappears? Like, we still go with the ending that was in the movie. Ben disappears, but Luke, Yoda, like all these people, especially like Leia, all these people that are part of Ben's family, like
Mm-hmm.
through their power of the Force, even though they're Force ghosts, they give up themselves to the Force, no longer able to communicate. They're now gone for good. No Force ghosts, no Force words. Like, you see this happen where they like will him back into existence by giving up the same thing that he did, right? So they sacrifice their whatever you want to say Force ghostness for
Okay. Yeah.
for Ben, and then Ben like reappears right there. But when he reappears, because he technically died vaporized, like he lost some of that stuff. I think you could bring it back in like that. Like, that's a way you could do it, and then it
Yeah.
brings closure to not being able to bring Carrie Fisher back in any future movies as a Force ghost because she gave herself up for her son. I don't know about Yoda. Maybe it's just Leia and Luke,
Oh,
but I
so
still think you could do that.
you could also use the world between worlds. I mean, we've done it before. I don't. There's a part in Rebels that is a major part, and I don't want to.
Okay,
It's
don't tell me that. Yeah.
it's one of the major parts in Rebels, and it's such a good part. Okay, those few episodes the arc that it's part of is so good, and I'm not gonna say anything,
Okay.
but they use the world between worlds to essentially bring someone back.
Well, but they did that in Ahsoka, right? Like
But
with
they didn't bring
not to
Vader
bring
back.
somebody back. Not to bring somebody back, but they used that, and like Anakin in there was clearly not a force projection. Like it was
Yeah,
him, right?
yeah,
So yeah, like what's to say that something like that, like whether it's there, however it is, that something like that can't happen. I mean, it's Star Wars. Listen, like you and I have had so many conversations, and I will die on the bridge
well,
of the fact that I say Star Wars is a fantasy movie filled with fantastic things that don't happen in real life. So why limit it to things that can happen in real life? If you're going to look at this movie as being something that is,
in
took
our
place a
galaxy.
long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, like none of this stuff has existed. The alphabet doesn't exist. The ships don't exist. Like all of
Actually,
this stuff
I did a
doesn't
little bit
exist.
more research. The high galactic alphabet is actually our alphabet. So
Is it okay? Okay,
yeah,
but what I'm saying though is like if you have all this stuff that isn't based in our reality, then
right,
let's just take it for what it is. Like it's a fantasy reality where you could do things different that aren't done in our lifetime, right? Like the things that we don't see in our reality, right? So like
of
even
course.
the force, like there aren't like hundreds of force users running around Earth right now lifting thing with their mind. Like if that was possible, I would definitely try to train and figure out how to do that because I would love to just do so,
Yeah,
right? Like I
I
think
mean,
that'd be awesome.
like every kid tries to lift the TV remote, you
Yeah.
know, like flip off
Or
the.
the first time your parents say no, you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
it didn't work.
I just, yeah, I think there's ways to do it, and you know what? It just, I could
I,
tell you some parts of this because the character we've seen the character since like a lot.
Seen
So
the
I mean,
character. Oh,
we
like you're talking
could
about from the show? No, go
from
ahead. Like
Rebels.
yeah, that's
So
fine.
I'm just gonna say Ahsoka. You know, she comes back. We don't see her die, okay, but
Okay,
we see someone go in and grab her from a portal in the world between worlds. And
okay,
we could essentially do that with because what if those portals are what if Kylo Ben disappearing is that person grabbing him out of the from those portals, you know?
okay.
Just we could have done the same thing for Yoda. We could have done the same thing for Ben Kenobi. What if when those people disappear, that's the world between worlds? Because we also had Dave Filoni, the creator of Rebels, the creator of Clone Wars, helped on Mando, helped on every single Star Wars show essentially.
Okay.
Um, he created the world between worlds. So like, why
Let
couldn't
me
he use it to do something with Kai or Ben?
right. No, I agree with that. Let me
Because
let me
he
ask you
was
this.
going hard for this show too. Him and Kathleen Kennedy were going hard for this show.
Right. Okay, let me ask you this. I guess before I ask you, maybe I'll just preface where I am, and then you can tell me if you agree or not. In the sequel trilogy, I have a hard time saying any character in those movies is definitively better than Kylo Ren slash Ben Solo.
I think Kylo
Like
is the stand. I
I'm
think
not
he's the
knocking I'm not
standout.
knocking Poe. Yeah, like for sure. I think he's the best character in the movie. Like he's the most interesting,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So I love the redemption arc. I think that's cool, but you're literally taking the last surviving member of the Skywalker lineage and killing him off. Like I know
Yep.
that Rey's now calling herself Rey Skywalker, and I don't think Rey's a bad character. I think she's probably second for me, but it's
I don't like her
still
calling herself a Skywalker. She's a Palpatine. Let's call it as it is. She's a Palpatine.
I I don't I don't care either way on that personally. Like it doesn't bother me. I get what you're saying. I don't have an argument against it.
I
I just
mean,
don't. I don't think I care.
but in to tie into real life, Angry Mustache Man. He had nephews and everything with the same Angry Mustache Man name. Like, I think they changed their names because of it. So, I mean, maybe she doesn't want to be tied to Palpatine.
No, that's clearly it. And she doesn't know what like her parents' last name was. Like I doubt they were running around the galaxy as like a clone son version of Palpatine. He's
Oh, I'm
like, hey,
Palpatine's.
my daddy's Grandpa Palpatine. Like he's not doing that, right? So they had a different name and she doesn't know it. So she just took on the closest name. And the person that gave her the most tutelage in her life was Leia, right? Like from the movies. Like she imparted more to her. Luke to an extent too. So the only two people that had the biggest impact in her life with training her to be who she ends up being were Skywalkers, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of get it. Like I said, I don't like if people say they don't like it. I understand that argument. I don't have anything against that argument. I think though that like you literally cut off and finished. There's no way anything with Skywalker, legitimate Skywalker, bloodline Skywalker, can continue after this movie. Rey can continue, but it would have been so much better. And I'm not trying to ship Ben Solo and Rey and saying they need to be together, but that's a possibility. Like you could have had them continue on the Skywalker lineage. They're not related.
Yeah, I know they're not related, but I would have had a hard time believing that her watching him kill Han Solo, like one of the people that essentially rescued her from,
Yep.
I'm not gonna say slavery, but like close to it, like pennies on the dollar type thing, wage, you know.
Okay.
Han Solo rescued her essentially.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I'm gonna throw something out here that you're not taking into context.
Watching Kylo kill him hurt Finn. I mean, try to kill Finn. It just
here's a couple things you're leaving out. One, this is where I think movies kind of I don't know how I want to say this. They'll kind of play off of basic tenets of Christianity. And then and I'm not saying Star Wars is a Christian movie. I'm not even trying to imply that even in the slightest sense. But I am saying that they do stuff in all movies like this that you can look at Christianity as an example. So while what you're saying is true, in a normal situation, yeah, how do you get over that? In a situation where they're the two of them through bringing each other back from the dead or whatever, they're now linked through the Force. Like they have this connection that's deeper than normal physical or emotional stuff. Like it's deeper than that, right? Number two, would you say I'm going to ask you two things. Would you say resentment and anger would be paths to the dark side, and forgiveness would be a path to the light side?
Yeah.
So if Rey is really trying to be a new Jedi and continue along with the Jedi heritage, and she saw the redemption arc of Kylo and how he went back to being Ben Solo, right? Do you not think that there's a possibility of forgiveness in that trajectory?
Yeah, and we did see Luke, completely forgive his dad, and then be like,
yes.
"Hey, come with me.
I think that's part of the redemption.
Make it work."
Yeah. Yep. Well, and even so, you look at the end of it when he's dying. Was Rey like, "Oh no, Kylo Ren's dying. Oh, boo, sorry."
No, they switched.
Yeah, she was emotional. Now, here's the other thing I want to say. When you said it would kind of bother you a little bit, stuff like that. Anybody that watched Star Wars and didn't have a negative, grotesque reaction the second they found out that Luke and Leia were brother and sister and backtracked and went, "It's so disgusting that they kissed," I don't want to hear anything about Rey and Ben.
Okay. Okay.
Like one's worse.
Okay.
One's significantly worse.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I just feel like having a Skywalker, a real Skywalker, could have. I mean, you can call him Solo, whatever, because he essentially is. If you really want to be technical about it, he's a Solo, but like. Yep. He's a Skywalker. Having Rey and you could hyphenate, but like
Ben Solo Skywalker.
Yeah. Yeah, or that. Yeah. Uh having those two create a new Jedi Order.
Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing, like we know that Rey's got some training now. Like it's I would think by the time her and Ben fight Grandpapa Pelpy, like during that thing, I would still say she's very, very early in her training, right? And now
Yeah.
there's no Jedi around to train her at all. But if you change this and Ben comes back, like I don't think Ben finished his training with Luke either because of whatever happened, and I'll get to my gripe in a little bit with Star Wars. But like Ben didn't complete his training, so I think the two of them, with the knowledge that they have, they've come together and they've got different trainings, so they can say, "Hey, the things that you don't know, I'll teach you." But the things that we know together, we're going to keep finding ways to make these stronger and grow and be better about them and search for ways to make them stronger. I think makes more sense than Rey just being like, I got nobody left in life to teach me, but I'm gonna be a great Jedi. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now here's, I think we're gonna accidentally transition. So I guess we'll do that now. But
Hold on. I wanna bring up one last point before we
sure,
have that transition. If we have a new Jedi Order, will be the first time that we will have like an actual Jedi Order. It's not the first time we had a Jedi Order, but it is because Luke had it for like 5 years. I don't want to call that a real Jedi Order unless it's a Jedi Order. You know, if we don't
did he
have
have an
over
actual
100
Jedi
people,
order,
I mean, he
or
had
was
other
it just he
pupils.
was training Jedi?
He was training. Okay, so after Kylo, we had Rey's starting this Jedi Order. That's what this whole
Mhm.
new movie trilogy is supposed to be about. Okay,
Yes,
you've seen Harry Potter, right?
I have not.
You've never seen Harry Potter?
No, go
Okay,
ahead, continue.
so throughout this Harry Potter school, you have ghosts walking around. You know that
Yeah.
wizard ghost walking around. What
Oh,
if
so it'd be like the new Jedi Temple with Jedi
dude,
and Ghost.
dude? Yes, because Ray obviously has the training to view these Force ghosts. So why? What's to keep her from training everybody to view these, and then
True.
having these Force ghosts somewhat teach the new Jedi Order?
My kids used to watch a TV show back on Disney back in the day. It was like a wizard show, like Wizards of Waverly Place or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could
Yep.
change the to be like the Jedi or the wizard or the what is it? The Jedi Ghosts of or the Ghosts of Jedi Academy or something like that. And it's like
Yeah.
just this big like learning center where you've got like younglings
It
and
could be
Jedi
like the
ghosts walking
community
around.
center, you know? Like,
All right, so okay, so let me tell you along the lines of speaking of Ben Solo. So this is kind of a good transition. Where my frustration is in Star Wars, like overall, I'm not a big fan of Episode 8 at all. Like probably one of my lower ranked movies. But before we get into our rankings, the whole freaking Luke trying to kill Ben Solo thing irks me to no freaking end. Like all the stuff that this dude went through, especially with his father. Okay, he knows his father is Darth Vader, who at this time, and even during Kylo Ren's like worst, Kylo Ren never lived up to Darth Vader. Darth Vader was way. Kylo Ren did no Order 66.
right.
Luke's dad killed so many people, but he saw redemption as a possibility for his dad, and he said, "Kylo, nah, I'm gonna kill that dude." Come on, dude. That's the dumbest thing, and the fact that like when they showed that scene and they showed Luke standing over Kylo Ren, do you think you saw a calm, thoughtful, well thought out, like, hey, like I'm like I have to do this, I don't want to do this, or did it look like a pretty angry Luke, which is part of the dark side?
It looked like an anger. It looked angry. He looked very angry.
I mean, people can complain about all this other stuff. To me, that's probably my most frustrating scene maybe not thing in general, but like my most frustrating scene in the movies is the fact that like Luke, who went through all of this turmoil as being a Jedi, finding out who his dad was, redeeming his dad, and then woke up and said, "No, I gotta kill my nephew." Not like, "Hey, I gotta talk to his mom and dad. Like, I know something could possibly happen. We need to, as a team, the three of us, we need to make sure that we have this all situated so this doesn't become a possibility." No, it was just we're gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Like, what in the heck?
The
So,
whole
what would be your biggest gripe? Star Wars gripe? Your biggest issue?
the one thing that comes to mind right now is because I talked about Book of Boba Fett is the Power Ranger gang, dude. Like the Vespas, dude. Like why are we
The Power Ranger gang.
dude, it's so ridiculous. I liked the Book of Boba Fett. But just seeing that took me so out of it is yeah, okay. You can have pride in your car, you know, clean it up, all that. That's what these people did, okay? But here's the thing. I don't have the same car as you do, just a different color, and we don't ride together.
Yeah, but that's hold on. But
That's
I was gonna agree with you until that last sentiment. But let me ask you this: when you're driving down the highway, do you normally
see a
see one
motorcycle
Harley roll a
gangs?
bicycle, yeah. Or do you see like two, three,
Okay,
four Harleys riding together? But they're not
true.
like go Vesper Rangers
Yeah. Like all the same
or
colors
maybe
and everything,
Raiders.
man. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh, and then the dude spinning with he like spun and then shot between his arm like this, like pew, you know. Oh,
I I'm kind of torn on Book of Boba Fett. Like I feel like, and I think we talked about this like after it first came out. I feel like the first half of the season was dedicated to Boba Fett, and then I feel like the second half of that season became like Mandalorian 2.5.
yep,
And
100%.
bro, there was a drastic difference between the first half and second half of that show. The first half of that show, and I think like I'm not as big a fan as you are of that character, but I still think that that character is a cool character, and I think that the first half of that show did a very big disservice to him. It wasn't horrible; could have been worse, but it could have been. Dude, that show could have been so much better.
Yeah. Listen,
Why they got this Stranger Things little dude?
dude, it would be a great.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I should have gone quicker. I should have gone quicker with the slideshow. But yeah, I think Finn Wolfhard would be a great like young Solo, you know, or
I can
not
see it a
Solo,
little
but
bit.
a little young. Maybe not now. I mean, he's got the schnoz. They both have
But
the
he's
schnoz.
just like Han, dog.
Listen, because he's a Solo.
Yeah, but so Ben, when he was a kid, he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna take my dad's
I want to be
blaster.
like Daddy, you know.
I'm gonna take his little white girl vest, and I'm gonna put it on, and I'm gonna like get some fall coffee, maybe some pumpkin spice up in here."
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the next slide. Oh, that is the last slide. Okay. Listen.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Boba Fett. I literally am Boba Fett. I've got 5 Boba Fett tattoos. I've got, you know, my first action figure from my grandma was a Boba Fett. So like,
Bro, your nickname is Coors Fett. Like I get
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but that show was so underwhelming.
Yeah.
I liked it. I enjoyed my time, but it could have been so much better. If they would
But
have
you
done
have to
like I
admit, the
said,
second half was better, right? Like way
yeah,
better.
yeah,
Yeah.
they could have. Oh, but they did bring back my boy Max Rebo, the blue elephant man that's on the keyboard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They did bring him back, so I'm happy about that. But then they killed him again. Are you kidding me?
Who? I feel like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett are blended together a little bit. Was Cobb Vanth in?
Both, both.
He was in both. Okay,
Yep.
okay. And that was the Timothy Oliphant character, right?
Yes. Yep.
Who? What was the dude? Boba Fett's old friend slash guy that like they got in the gunfight with, the blue face dude.
The blue face, the Boba Fett. Oh, Cobb Vanth or Cad Bane. Sorry,
Cad
Cad
Bane.
Bane.
He's the Cad Bane. I was like, nope, pretty sure we just established who that was.
Yeah, wait, just to say,
He,
you'll meet
dude,
him in
that
the Clone
dude,
Wars.
that dude though in the show looked and sounded pretty cool, like legit. And I feel like he just was like absolutely minimized in that show too. Like everything that they started doing well, they like did very little of it, and the stuff that wasn't working well, they like did more of it. And it was just
Ugh.
like, what are we
I
doing here?
I hate to bring up another gripe, but like that's another gripe of mine is that it seems like when they bring up um new characters from the animated shows, they just portray them so bad. Uh like the Grand Inquisitor in the Obi-Wan series. He has this tiny head and I just hate it. Like they scrunched his head and it just let me get a good picture here. Um Let me open that. Of course. Of course.
I get that, but like, how do you make that face legit and like as a human form? What did you just
Somebody
do?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Somebody did it. Somebody did it post Book of Boba. Like they did both the Grand Inquisitor and Cad Bane, and they made them look so much better for absolutely nothing. They did it for their own sake. The people at Lucasfilm get paid buco bucks, and they made
Yeah,
this guy look stupid. He's
true.
pale as can be. He's not that vibrant blue. We have seen his species in A New Hope. We first saw the Duros species in A New Hope in the cantina. They were that vibrant blue with the glowing red eyes, just like Cad Bane is supposed to be. And then they ruined him.
I mean maybe after I watch like Clone Wars and stuff like that, I'll have more of an opinion on it. I didn't think his character looked bad, but that's because I didn't watch any of the other
Yeah.
stuff yet, so I don't have that comparison. I yeah.
And then as for the Grand Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor is the people we meet on Utapau when
Oh, that's the dude.
Obi-Wan.
He was in Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Obi-Wan
Yeah.
meets when Obi-Wan meets the people on Utapau about General Grievous, and they're like
Yep,
sixth
and the
level.
dude in the
blah, blah,
comics
blah.
are in the the dude in the comics and the animated series had more of like the cone head.
Yeah, it's just why we have a visual guide on what these people, what the race looks like.
So are you one of the people that has a problem with Ahsoka's head things?
How long they are,
Yeah.
I I I do, but I don't. I understand. They at least gave us a reason on why they shortened them. They gave
Okay.
us a reason. They told us in like a behind the scenes thing that she wouldn't have been able to run and move as easily. Fine. Give me a reason.
Maybe that's what some of this other stuff was. Like, I mean, maybe the Grand Inquisitor's head, like maybe you do that because the scenes that he's in, it makes it easier. Like I'm not trying to justify it. Like I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't really have any skin in the game on this one. I'm just trying to think of logistical reasons because I get like it's one thing to if a person's just standing there talking or if they're in a canteen and they're just going like this and playing music and stuff like that and not really
Yeah.
like doing anything, but the second you start having them do like lightsaber fights and any kind of, even if it's minimal action scenes, you really got to kind of tone down some of that stuff because like you can't, like you need mobility. Like the same thing, like we can go with like the older Batman stuff. I know you said you weren't a big fan of the Batman things and everything like that. But like all of the actors will tell you every time that they made a movie, they made such a leap in the Batman cowl because it started off with like the very first Batman movie, Michael Keaton, when he had to turn his head, his head turn was this.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't turn his head separate from his shoulders. So every year they tried to every movie they tried to improve it to where it was really like a mobility thing and they could turn and do stuff. That's why like you saw like in future movies Batman characters being able to do different fight moves and maneuvers and stuff like that because of the fact that they had more mobility. So I would say if the decisions that they made, if they were lazy, that's cheap and it shouldn't happen. If they were made because something that the character did, it just they couldn't get it to work with the prosthetics or with whatever they were doing, then yeah, it sucks. But at the same time, I kind of get it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What would be funny is if they went back and they were like, oh, okay, look it, we're gonna go back in and we're gonna edit all the Grand Inquisitors from all of the animated series to make them look like Obi-Wan.
Oh my god.
So like now you went back and you go to watch it and you're like, dude, what are you talking about? Like the Grand Inquisitor looks identical to Obi-Wan. You'd be like, no way.
It just drives me up a wall, man. Okay. So you want to make the prosthetics smaller so that they can run easily, whatever. Okay, fine. Why is he pale?
Isn't he like a silverish or like a gray color?
He's all like a gray, like gray with a hint of blue.
Okay.
He's okay.
So he's like the
look at the wall behind you. Look at the wall behind you. He's supposed to be. He's your wall. He's supposed to be the Michigan blue.
But that's not Michigan blue.
I said he.
Yes.
Yeah. I look at the difference. Okay. I'm just saying, look at the difference.
Oh, you're saying from
he's supposed. Okay. It's supposed to be the Michigan blue, and he's the wall blue. Like.
Gotcha.
That's my gripe. That's my second gripe. Okay. That's my second gripe.
I get it. You can only have one gripe right now.
I know, but it tied. They tied. Okay.
All right. So we want to do order of movies.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you want to go through? Do you want to go through yours? Do we want to do like line by line? Like you do your first, I do my first, or do we just want to talk about why we have them in the order that we have them?
Yeah. Let's just. I mean, obviously, I mentioned in the last episode, The Empire Strikes Back is my all-time favorite movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Revenge of the Sith is my number 2. Just that the duel at the end, the Mustafar duel. There is a scene in Revenge of the Sith that I cannot get over. It's where Anakin tells Mace Windu, and he's watching from the Jedi Council room. He's looking at Padme's apartment, and Padme is looking at the Jedi Council room, and there's like nothing but opera music, you know.
He said, "Oh."
And they cut back. It goes like it's Anakin looking, and then it's what Anakin's looking at, and then it goes to Padme looking, what Padme is looking at, Anakin, boom, Padme, boom, Anakin, boom, Padme, boom, Anakin, tear. Dude, no, it's one of the most emotional parts without any dialogue.
Okay, fair enough. I think I have Return of the Jedi as my number 2 because of the fact of the whole scene, man, where Luke is in the throne room and the Emperor is trying to get him to do anything, right? And for like 90% of it, like Luke is not biting. He's like, I'm not responding. I'm not resorting to turn to the dark side. Like he's doing everything possible, not only for himself, but showing his father what he could have done or still could do. I think that moment right there, it's so freaking powerful when it comes to the redemption of Darth Vader. And then so Darth Vader seeing all this, and you could see him like, you know, starting to be like, what the flip? Like this shouldn't be that hard, right? And the fact that it is, and then all of a sudden, when the Emperor starts doing stuff to Luke, like Vader's like, nah, dog, I just like absolutely has it. Like that redemption, I'm gonna tell you that redemption when I saw it the first time was freaking awesome. That redemption after seeing episodes 1, 2, and 3, even more powerful. Like it made it so much bigger when you think back on it. So
Seeing
that's
that
why, like, I
redemption
think,
after the Obi-Wan series.
oh yeah, and let him do it now
Oh,
too. Yeah, no, 100%. I'll go with my next one. A New Hope. The reason I have that one high because of what I said earlier. I'm a big like I'm gonna use this example. Um, I don't think Captain America Episode 1 was the best Captain America movie. I think Winter Soldier was better. I think Civil War maybe was about like I think that one and First Avenger were about equal for me. I love a good, well done origin story. Like I don't need one that's like been done the same way like a million and a half times. But I love a good origin story where you meet the characters, you find out who they are now, and you see the growth even in the first movie. Like Luke's growth in A New Hope from the beginning to end. Like the dude was a clumsy, maybe not clumsy, but a really nerdy, bumbling freaking farm boy
he was a
to,
child. Yeah.
yeah, to being like somebody who, no, I wouldn't say a Jedi Master, but somebody who had definitely grown so much, not just in the Force, but in life, right? Um, so like I get it. Like when people say that it's slow and they don't like it because it's slow compared to the rest of the movies, like I get that argument. Like I can't. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't mind it because of everything that it initiates.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It is down towards the bottom for me because it is slow, and that it's
Yeah.
just my TikTok brain. It's just so it gets so slow at
You
some
need a
point.
movie full of instant gratification.
I need to watch that movie along with like the little subway runner, thing, like some brain
Right.
rot type thing, and then the movie here, so I can just like look over. So it goes jingle, 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 like keys, just jingle, jingle, jingle. A New Hope, jingle, jingle, jingle.
All right. So why is Return of the Jedi at 4 for you?
Oh, Boba Fett. Boba Fett,
Yeah.
the speeder bikes, Scout Troopers being just awesome, dude. The speeder bikes just made that
Wait,
whole
Scout Troopers
Endor.
being just awesome. Did they do anything besides die?
No, no, they sucked, but they looked so cool.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Just the Tatooine scenes, awesome. All of it, just all of it. The Tatooine, the Dagobah, the
What movie was the Endor stuff on?
Return of the Jedi.
I know, I'm just joking.
Exactly. And then that goes right into Solo. Solo, I loved. I loved every bit of it. It was so fun. I just loved it. It was just such a fun movie. I don't want to keep saying the same exact thing over and over and over again.
Did you love it?
I loved it and it was so fun.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'll wait to talk about my Solo thing when I get to my
It's
Solo.
the origin story of Solo.
Yep, no, for sure. All
Just,
right, so for my, go ahead. I'm sorry. Do you want me to go?
Darth Maul at the end. That's all I gotta say.
I'll talk about that when it gets to mine.
Yeah.
So Force Awakens, I kind of already mentioned this one too, like when I said, like in prior conversations that we've had. The reason this one's so high on my list, if this was a standalone movie, that came out when I was younger, like before I had kids and stuff like that, I don't think it would be this high. The reason this movie is this high for me, like my wife and I took our kids to see this at least 5 or 6 times in the movie theater when it first came out. And it was because like the callbacks to old Star Wars for me, awesome. I loved it. For being something that like Star Wars hadn't come out for a while after episode 3, for it to come back out at the time that it did, I think you have to call out things and bring attention back to the original, let's say 6 movies now. in order to get people like me to come out and watch it. And I'm bringing my kids who I'm seeing are having an absolute blast watching this movie because
Yeah.
I know what that leads to. And that leads to me being able to watch the other movies again with my kids and getting their reactions from watching the movies again. So that's the reason why this one stands out for me. It's not because this movie was like, it blew me away. I did like Kylo Ren. I personally don't mind Rey as a character. Um, I definitely think she wasn't as good as Kylo Ren. Like I would say, if Kylo Ren was the best character in Force Awakens, let's say he's 10 because he's at the top of the list. I would say the next character would be Rey, and she's probably a 7. There's a drop off for sure, but it's not like oh like she's the worst. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. So that's just my take on why I have that one so high.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Rogue One. Rogue One. That movie was, I mean, it was our first anthology movie, you know. It didn't have to deal with the Skywalker, but it had to deal with the Skywalkers. Like,
Yep.
the hallway scene. That hallway scene. That hallway scene alone.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
And then
100%.
I loved the look of Krennic. I loved the look of the Death Troopers. The Death Troopers were so cool in that.
What's his Grand Admiral Tarkin in it too, right? Like
Yeah,
it was like CGI though. Or Grand Moff Tarkin. Yeah.
If I was taller, I would. I understand that cosplay is about inclusivity, blah 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 blah. If I was taller, I would make a Death Trooper costume because they're like 6'2". I'm 5'9", so I just wouldn't look right in it. But like, I wish I could do it.
Hey, it's as easy as this. If people say, "Why are you so short for a Death Trooper?" You can be like, "I'm Luke in a Death Trooper outfit."
That's right. That's right.
No, I'll get to my Rogue One in a second. I don't disagree with you. I have Revenge of the Sith here because I love the whole. I think the Obi-Wan and Anakin whole like ending fight scene in that freaking movie just cinematically freaking awesome. Like the hovering above the lava, freaking fighting and stuff like that, and the freaking classic scene. Don't do it, Anakin. I have the high ground. Like, bro, and Anakin just being like so full of himself that he was like, "No, that doesn't matter." And I think like they called that out. Was it in the Obi-Wan show where they showed a training thing with the two of them going back and forth, and Anakin refused to give up, and he did kind of get the better of Obi-Wan in that scene.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he didn't because like showing that there's a difference between training with Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan training versus Obi-Wan fighting for his life. Low key, I'm gonna say Revenge of the Sith and the Obi-Wan show made me think that Obi-Wan is legitimately probably the most underrated Jedi of all time. That's a separate side.
Yeah. Let's see. Force Awakens. I went and saw it in theater 7 times. I took the day off of work to binge the original 6 movies.
Fair?
So
Okay.
that I woke up at 6 in the morning. I started with 1. I kind of fell asleep a little bit because I was, I worked the day before. I was exhausted. I watched all the movies. I took a week off of Facebook. I took a week off of all social media for no spoilers. Okay.
Let me ask you this: did this movie come out when we were working together at CS?
No.
What Star Wars movie came out when we were working together at CS and Jacob was basically trying to spoil it nonstop? Do you remember that?
The Rise of Skywalker.
Was it?
28,
Or was it the last?
Probably
Anyway,
Solo.
sorry.
Yeah, probably. The Rise of Skywalker, I think, is the only one. Maybe The Last Jedi. I don't know.
Okay.
Where was I?
You were talking about Force Awakens.
Oh,
You're
took a week off of work, not a week off of social media, a day off of work, week off of social media. I am getting ready to leave my house to go watch the movie, okay? And I was like, okay, I gotta use the restroom. I'm scrolling through my phone. You know, I thought, you know, I'll just look at iFunny, which is just like funny pictures. I see that lightsaber go through Han Solo, and I'm like, and I hoped that it was just a fake, you know? And then I saw that
Yep.
same like little that bluely lit room, and I was like, oh god, here it comes. And I was just so disappointed. I just couldn't do it. It was a good day. I loved the movie. I saw it 7 times in theaters alone.
Yep. All right. So Rogue One, I'm gonna 100% agree with you. I think the majority of that movie was good. It wasn't like great. I'll tell you though, that end sequence with Vader in the hallway
Yeah.
made that movie a billion times better than it had any right of being. And I'm not knocking the movie. I thought the rest of the movie was good. Um, man, I tell you what, like the first time seeing Darth Vader do ridiculous Darth Vader stuff in live action, just absolutely epic. 100%. I agree.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Him just not slowly one-handing, you know. I get he was toying with Luke that entire trilogy with the one hand thing. But like him actually doing dark side stuff. Like I don't know. That's not what I mean. But like him moving with some semblance of being in a rush to do something.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
Let's go with Attack of the Clones, man. Slow movie. Really really slow movie. But once it picked up quick. That whole, I would say, from the point in the movie where they are going through the droid facility, where they're like doing all like they're going under all the droid parts being built, and then Padme gets trapped in the lava thing, in the schmelter, in the, what is that called, the crucible.
Okay. Yep.
I think from that point on in that movie, it's just all gas. You know, it's going hard that whole time. The
Fair.
the arena scene with the Reek, the Acklay, and the Nexu, the 3 monsters. It's just so good. It's so good.
That I think that was. I'll get to mine in a minute. Yeah, I agree with you though, but mine's lower on the list. I could almost well, I'll go with Solo first. There's so much about Solo I wish they would have done more. I like the backstory on Han Solo. Like I thought that was really cool. I love seeing him want to be part of the Empire and stuff like that. And I, for the most part, I was not a huge fan of the movie. I think that movie would have been so much better if we had gotten already maybe some additional mall stuff, and maybe we will with the new mall show that's coming out. But like, I think those tidbits made me stay interested. Like when you saw like the like mall being integrated, saw this whole syndicate thing being involved and everything like that. Like all of that stuff kept me I definitely thought it was interesting. The backstory between Han and the lady's name. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Kira?
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, like for like I can't. It's not like I was like, hey, this is great, but I also wasn't like, oh, this isn't good, right? So like, hey, it's kind of my middle ground movie, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I get it. I get it. I get it. Phantom Menace. My first Star Wars movie being alive. You know, it's
Yep.
not the first one that I watched, but it's the first one of me being there. I wasn't even in the theater, but it's that first one where I'm like, I'm actually alive. And you know what? The whole duel of the fates, duel of the fates, so good. The pod race, the pod race alone, probably the best part of that movie.
Okay. I have Rise of Skywalker. I think now we're gonna start getting into movies where like I'm not a fan of like I would say half of the movie where it's like there's some good Star Wars stuff in there, but some of the plot stuff or some of the stuff that starts happening in it is just not as good for me. There's still good stuff in the movies, and there's still stuff that I like Rise of Skywalker. I like the whole ending thing with all the ships showing up, to help back them up. I like the whole redemption thing for Kylo Ren that we were talking about in the Ben Solo thing, or sorry, the redemption thing of Ben Solo. Um, I I like the finding out that Ray is actually a Palpatine. I thought that was like a cool kind of twist that just you weren't expecting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like all the stuff that people talked about up until this point about who Ray could be.
Oh, the amount
I'm not
rumors.
saying nobody picked it, but I don't remember any traction or main thing behind anybody saying, "Oh shoot, I bet you she's a Palpatine."
Mine was a Kenobi. She's a Kenobi.
Right. Yeah, so like I liked it. I mean, I thought it was a good ending for the thing. Like I said, I think they could have done the ending a lot better, but with Ben dying, Luke gone, Leia gone, Obi-Wan, Ben gone, you know what I mean? Freaking Yoda's been gone. Like, who else do you have left at that point? Like, you're not, yeah. I don't know. So I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Let me do my Phantom Menace before we get to your New Hope. Because I want to talk. That movie, I think, 3 things I liked about that movie. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Maul. Everything else I could have done without in that movie.
Yeah.
I personally thought the pod race thing was sometimes good, but a lot of times, like, it just seemed like it was like, this is my take. Okay, guys, we have like 80% of a movie left. What are we gonna do with the 20% left?
It is like
we're
10,
gonna
15 minutes.
Pod racing, and it's just gonna be super long. And all you're gonna hear is like literally, there's hardly any dialogue. There's hardly any interaction. Like, okay, how long can we get a scene of like having a couple Jedi standing like this watching, and they're just doing this?
You know what my favorite part of the pod race scene was though? When the two-headed person was I don't know the name. The two-headed person was announcing the pod race, and then they go, Jabba the Hutt, and then they go, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of it.
So, like, I could have done without the pod racing being that long. I'm not saying it was bad, like, completely, but it definitely seemed like it was a long sequence. Okay. I'm gonna get to my favorite part of Phantom Menace and the prequel trilogies. Jar Jar, I could have done without him. Like you could have put anybody in that role, and I literally wouldn't have cared. Like for me, all of his scenes made me want to watch it less. That's how annoying the character was for me. That's me though. So that's my Phantom Menace and why it's so low. Everything else, like if Jar Jar wasn't in it, and if the pod race wasn't as long, or maybe not Jar Jar not being in it, but maybe it was like minimal in it, like wasn't as prominent in it.
Can you say that again?
I said maybe if he was like not as prominent in it, like if he wasn't like prominent in it.
Prominent in it? Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I just wanted you to say that. Prominent in it.
Okay, so let's go with your next.
A New Hope. It's just boring. It's just boring. I get it. It's set up. It's set up so much, but it's boring. Oh my gosh, it's boring. That's all I can say. It's just, we're on the desert.
Tell me how you really feel.
We're in the desert. and then we're in the desert, and then we're in the desert, and then we're in this gray drab building.
You're freaking Anakin over here. I hate the desert.
I hate sand.
Right.
Okay, Rise of Skywalker is my next one. It was the second best of the prequel trilogies, but I feel like if they would have had, I'm not saying one director, but I feel like if they would have had more vision going into it, it just, the Last Jedi it was like Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, and if they would have just gone like an equal, like, even a plateau would have been fine. They got rid of the Knights of Ren in the Last Jedi, and it just things that should have been mentioned.
Version of Knights of Ren, right?
I don't even think they were shown. Knights of Ren weren't even shown.
In Rise of Skywalker, he had a fight with them.
In the Last Jedi.
Oh, you went from.
I didn't go on. I didn't move on.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of tying in. It's showing what I'm just gonna go both because like if it was Rise of Skywalker was if they would have just plateaued it and gone with what their vision was, I think it could have been that Rise of Skywalker would have been so good. But Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams had to go from directing the first one to Rian Johnson tanking the second one to J.J. Abrams having to rebuild. Yeah.
So I have Attack of the Clones here, but really I'm gonna tell you Rise of Skywalker, maybe even Solo, Rise of Skywalker, Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones. Those ones I could probably change the order of those for any given day. I put it this way right here, mainly because I feel like the acting in this one, there's a lot of lines that are my least favorite lines in this movie. Let me ask you, where was the "I hate sand" line from?
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. So stuff like that, like I get throwing it in there and everything like that, but man, some of it just felt so dry. Even in the scene where correct me if I'm wrong, because Attack of the Clones is when we first see Hayden Christensen as Anakin, right? Because in Phantom Menace, it's always the younger dude,
Jake Lloyd,
ended up being in trouble with the law nonstop. Even in the scenes where they're like on Naboo and they're laying in like the flowers in the field, like I feel like that whole scene with Hayden is just absolutely forced. Like I'm trying to have emotion, but it's so dry.
It's just not there. Yeah, but I don't think we can blame.
I'm not knocking
the actors. I think we have to blame George Lucas for that. I don't think he.
No, for sure. But I would still say that's why. Like, I think those 4 movies, like, I could rearrange those on any given day. They would never be lower than they are at Attack of the Clones, but they'd never be higher than they are at Solo. Like, regardless of which way I order.
Got it.
I think you and I have the same last 2, but probably for different reasons. I put the Clone Wars under The Last Jedi because I haven't seen it, so I can't rate it technically.
Yeah.
I hated Last Jedi. Like in the Star Wars universe, like there were little things in it. Like I get like throwing Broom Boy in there to say like, hey, anybody can, possibly be a Force user and use the Force. Okay, that's kind of cool. That gives hope for everybody in the universe. That even gives hope for people that have had the argument like, oh, Star Wars, like Han Solo was like, he was Force sensitive, just not like Jedi Force sensitive. Like that's why he could pilot a ship really well. That's why he could smuggle really well because he had like intuition through the Force. Like I think that opens up all of those conversations about there being different levels of the Force versus like, hey, if you're a Force user, everybody's like Yoda or Luke or Vader or you know what I mean, or Palpatine. And if you're not on that level, you're just not a Force user.
Yeah.
So I think I like that. Everything else about that movie, like trying to change all of the movies that came before it, I didn't understand why somebody would do that, and I still don't personally.
Yeah, I mean, I already talked about the Last Jedi. For me, is they just it just it changed too much of where they were going, and it just didn't. I walked out of the theater thinking that's one of my favorite movies, Star Wars movies.
The
And
Last
then
Jedi.
yeah, and then I started thinking about it, and I watched it again. I probably saw it 3 times in the theater,
Okay,
and every time I keep watching it, I'm like, hmm.
this isn't good.
I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's just
Look,
if
you have it second to last on your list for a reason. Like,
yeah,
it might not be like a bad movie in the grand scheme of movies, but in the grand scheme of Star Wars movies, it's
it was
bad
bad.
compared to the rest.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then so the Clone Wars, it's just bad. It's just bad.
Well, I'll have to watch it at some point, and then I'll
It's
tell you what my
probably
thoughts
gonna.
are.
It's you probably have to watch the Clone Wars movie first.
Okay.
I think you should probably start with that, and after that, I think it just. I don't want to spoil too much, but that's how we meet Ahsoka. That's where we first meet Ahsoka. Um, there's a point in the movie where a clone trooper punches a battle droid, and I'm like, what did you honestly think was gonna happen? Like, you just punched him. I get it. You might have ran out of ammo. You might have dropped your gun. Don't care. You're not gonna do anything.
Right. All right. Yeah. No, I'll have to check it out. I'll put my opinion out there once I watch it. But that's the reason it's at the bottom for me, is because I haven't seen it, so
Right.
I can't give it a fair assessment either way.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. Well, I think that's just about it. Unless you have anything else to add.
I don't at this point. I think fun spoiler for looking ahead. I think we're going to try to have a guest on our next podcast
I think
for
so.
some kind of segment, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we covered a little bit more of what I would call our A New Hope episode, where you got to know us a little bit more.
Yeah. 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 So,
I think both the first two were, but that's okay.
yeah. Yeah. So, please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. We're gonna try to do a Q&A segment as soon as we have enough comments, or questions. So if you could just throw out some questions, topics, whatever you want, let us know. We'll cover it in the next few episodes. Other than that, thanks for tuning in.